Most people don't make as much as they think, spend more than they care to admit, and that leads them to be behind on taxes and or retirement.
How do you feel that financial instability actually impacts mental health?
It truly impacts everything. I believe other than your higher power, money is the only thing that touches everything. If we don't plan the money before it comes in, it's gone. Like it's already spent.
So let's talk about leverage. And you're passionate about the leverage concept, which I absolutely love.
I created the wealth method. And wealth is wisdom, earn, accumulate, lend, track, and habits.
Welcome back to the Leverage Lounge, where today we're not just talking about making money. We're actually talking about keeping it, multiplying it, and building real freedom. I'm Mike Collier, and today we're going to break down the cycle that's keeping high performers absolutely stuck. Matt Plummer isn't just a financial coach. He's someone who's rebuilt his whole life from the ground up, from battling addiction and debt to helping agents eliminate financial chaos through systems. He's on a mission to help you replace commission breath with financial control. Matt, welcome to the Leverage Lounge.
It's fantastic, Mike. I need to take you to like every introduction, every stage. Can I just take you in my pocket everywhere?
I'm ready, brother. So Matt, tell us what your business looks like today. Obviously, you overcame a lot of obstacles, but tell us where you are today and we can dive into some of the other stuff.
Yeah. So ultimately at the core, what I help people do is build a healthy relationship between business finances and personal finances that empowers them to make decisions to create stress-free wealth. And we do that through a 3-step process of budgeting, banking, and bookkeeping. And so our business is financial coaching, one-on-one and also group. We also have a bookkeeping business called Stress Free Books that we help real estate agents, team leaders, broker owners grow and scale their business and personal finances through those systems that they build a relationship with. And we give them the vehicle and the platform to do it, whether it's a one-on-one environment like this, it's group, or it's just simply, hey, give me the facts and I want to review it. And then tell me or coach me through what I'm looking at on this profit and loss statement.
That's good, man. I've heard you say that this is about realizing abilities. Like, what does that mean? What's the difference between not knowing what to do and actually knowing what to do?
Yeah, I think ultimately most people that are going to be listening to this podcast don't have a problem making money. And as we all know, we have no problem spending the money. We generally don't have an income problem. Now, we have a consistency challenge, but we don't have generally an income problem. We sure as heck know how to spend money, so we probably have a spending problem. And so just helping people build that relationship, because most people don't make as much as they think, spend more than they care to admit, and that leads them to be behind on taxes and or retirement. And that's just after tens of thousands of conversations, that's what we know to be true.
I was going to say, it sounds like you talked to a few real estate agents along the way.
Like 15 a day for the last 6 years. So I know the audience and I know the challenges before they even come up. And so one of the things that I pride myself on that I believe helps me build even a better relationship with the person on the other end of the phone is I never tell people what to do with their money. I do help them understand what they're already doing with it. And based on what they want, ask them one question: is that okay? And so now they become aware of like how much they're actually making, how much they're actually spending, where it's going, where it's not going, where they want it to go, so that one day agents can exit the transaction treadmill.
But it's different from a financial advisor. I mean, you're not like telling them what to invest in. You're just saying, how much of your income would you like to invest? And then let's carve that out and make sure it's going there. Is that what that is?
So, financial advisors that are at different brokerages or custodians like Charles Schwab and Fidelity, or they have their own wealth management, that is definitely not me. What I do is I help the entrepreneur create a path of money so that it's easier to get it to those types of people. If I was coaching you, I wouldn't say, hey, you need to go buy this fund or this stock or Now, what I will say is, hey, Mike, do you guys have an IRA? Do you have a Roth IRA? Do your kids have anything? What do you have as the business? And we can set that stuff up and then ask you, man, like, do you want to self-manage this, or do we want to find someone that can walk you over the next 30 years and manage it for you? And so that's where I can help the client navigate some of that, because a lot of people don't ask the right questions. And when it comes to the fees that the brokerage houses or the financial advisors charge, like, we can put that all into our matrix to this person's going to be able to help you
Yeah.
get to where you want to go based on their investment strategy. But like, yeah, if I'm working with you, hey man, we got to carve out $10,000 a month and we need to send it over here so that the advisor can go invest it or teach you how to go invest it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, real estate agents, I don't know, I guess most business owners don't get this kind of training, but especially real estate agents. Most real estate agents come from a 9 to 5. They come from some other industry prior to coming into entrepreneurship through the real estate industry, and they have no idea what to do. And it can be a very frustrating thing. It's obviously frustrating to not be making money and you don't have anything to invest or save. But it's even more frustrating, or maybe equally, I don't know, but it's frustrating to be making the money and then not knowing kind of what to do with it, or the money going in places that you can't track. It takes a toll on your mental health. So I want to go deeper than money for a second and really kind of talk about mental health. How do you feel that financial instability actually impacts mental health?
It truly impacts everything other than I believe in God.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening to this are going to believe in God. I believe other than your higher power, money is the only thing that touches everything. And so everything in your background used to be money. Everything in my background used to be money. Everything in our closets was money at some point, right? Our cars used to be money. And so we just don't have this relationship with it, that if we don't plan the money before it comes in, it's gone. Like, it's already spent. And so I believe that there are some people out there that will, because they don't face the fire and they want to address the smoke or something else that they want to, the symptom rather than the root problem, that takes a toll on their mental energy, that takes a toll on their physical energy. And our energy is not on will call, right? And so it's just
Right.
like our cell phone batteries. Like, my cell phone battery is at 19%. I've been using it all day. Now, tomorrow morning, it'll be 100%. And that's just the same thing as our energy. But do we actually ever get to 100%? And if we have financial stress, man, it's the thing that causes the most divorces, the most breakups, the most brokerage changes. Like, we say it might be culture, or it might be this, or it might be that. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, the reason why agents change brokerages is because there's something going on financially. And again, the brokerage might change, or the team they're going to join, or the person they're aligning with might change. But ultimately, the root problem does come down to their relationship with money. That, man, if we can fix that, we sleep better at night. We have less energy. We have less stress. We have less anxiety. And so it all does stem from money.
Like we said in the beginning, it's not just about making more money. It's about being able to keep more money. How would you say your lowest financial moments affected your mindset today?
You know, I've had a few low financial moments, both when I didn't have money and I did have money. I think the lowest moments that I can remember were, I always went against my core values. Like, whenever anything bad happened with money, or I didn't have any money, or I made a bad decision, honestly, I went against what I knew what I should have done. Years ago, a decade ago, when we were uncovering that we had $500,000 worth of debt and going through a physical transformation that led to our financial transformation, like, if I say it out loud, I was like, man, I knew I shouldn't have been buying that stuff. I knew I shouldn't have been having those car payments, or buying that thing, or doing that stuff, or gambling on this. I didn't have any money. But it was the dopamine, it was the addiction that I was chasing that I thought was going to get me to the other thing. I mean, I lived a life of trying to out earn my spending. I mean, all the way up until probably 10, 12 years ago. And then as I've made some changes and I've coached some people, and I'm like, if I'm coaching Mike and I hear something in Mike's voice and I'm like, hey man, can I just tell you a story about when I felt like that? And, you know, use that experience to not tell you what to do, but just like, hey man, I've been there and I went this way and I was wrong when I went that way. And I don't want you to make the same mistake. And I just look back at, like, internally core values. I know you're going to be shocked. Financial stability, commitment, consistency, stability. Like, those are just my foundational core values.
Yeah.
And I think if we just identify that and we run everything through those filters, we can avoid a lot of unnecessary stress that we bring upon ourselves.
No question. Yeah, debt doesn't just drain your bank account, it drains your clarity.
I think ultimately, if you say, what is debt? Let's just call it what it is. It's money going towards obligations versus opportunities. It's already been spent. We can't get it back. And it generally, other than real estate, goes down in value. So whether it's, I bought this shirt on a credit card, this shirt goes down in value. The car goes down in value regardless. Everything goes down in value except real estate and stocks.
Over time, yeah.
So stocks, mutual funds, portfolios, et cetera. And so debt is such a crippling thing because it takes our greatest wealth building tool and throws it at things that happened in the past that's going down in value versus at opportunities and says, hey, whether it's a capital fund, whether it's an investment opportunity, whether it's a real estate deal, or whether it's stocks, mutual funds and bonds and treasuries and all that stuff, it's like those are opportunities, man. And so, but if our money is going towards other things, it can't go there, and it's going to always force us to sell another house.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was at a Tom Ferry event a few weeks ago, actually, and it was a room of like 400 agents in there. And he said, if I was to let you know of an amazing investment, a real estate deal, this development deal that we're doing a capital raise, but the minimum raise is 500,000. He's like, the truth of the matter is, it's not that you guys in this room haven't made 500,000 at some point, but the fact of it is most of you don't have 500,000 to spend on that investment. Even if you have it, you don't have enough to actually put towards the things that you say that you want that are going to help gain the freedom that you say that you want.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what you're talking about, right? It's like, are we freeing up enough of the capital that we're making from the revenue that our companies are generating to allow it to have a bookmark where we can say, hey, that's where I want that to go so that it funds my future, like you said, not my past.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's where we do implement not only the wealth method, but the path of money. And we add age to money. And so like when money comes in, Mike, like it all can't go towards the thing we want to buy. It all can't go towards giving. It all can't go towards spending. It all can't go towards debt. Some of it has to go towards opportunities. And that opportunity bucket may not get 10, 15, 20%. It might only get 3 to 5%, or it might get something smaller so that when you do have the opportunity to make a $500,000 investment into a $50 million building that's going to pay 10, 12, 15%, and you're going to be able to take a tax advantage and all the sexy things that real estate agents want to do with their money.
Yeah.
They say they want to do it, but is audio actually matching video? And are you creating the habit that allows you to go take advantage of those opportunities? And the answer is most of us don't, simply because we're financially disorganized.
I like that. Is the audio matching the video? I like that. Let me ask you, take us down the road back to a time when Coach Matt Plummer didn't have it all figured out. Matter of fact, Coach Matt Plummer was just Matt Plummer. He wasn't even coach
That was
yet.
this morning, by the way. I definitely don't have it all figured out.
Okay. So take us back to a time before you were coaching, before you figured a lot of this stuff out and started helping other people get out of their own way. What was life like for you?
I mean, life was pure chaos. All the way back until I remember, I modeled my dad. My parents got divorced. I modeled my dad. My sister modeled my mom. And so I watched my dad go day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, sign for everything. $5 cheeseburger, $500,000 combine, anywhere in between. And so as I grew up in that world of I'll sign for it now and pay for it later, bled to college, bled to a car, bled to lifestyle. I believe that if we are an addict, generally all addicted to something, and as we make more money, we become a bigger version of that person. I was an addict, alcohol, lifestyle, eventually gambling, smoking. I just became a bigger addict. I wasn't a jerk. I mean, if you're a jerk and you make more money, you're just going to be a bigger jerk. That's not me. Big Matt was the life of the party. I was a lot of fun. When I didn't have it all figured out, ultimately I was doing the best I could for what I knew, but case in point, man, I wasn't doing a very good job of that. And so it led to end up marrying my college sweetheart, we'd been together forever. We made plenty of money, but we had no time. And like that compression of money and no time, like what we think is no time. And then along with always trying to out earn spending and like increasing the lifestyle, every time we got an extra $500, we didn't go towards the stock market. It went towards the closet or the driveway. And so like, man, it was 300 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler. And I'm like, something's got to change or else I'm not going to be here. I mean,
And
that
did
was,
you have that realization, or did somebody come, did a
I was
doctor
in
or somebody?
counseling. I mean, it was in counseling after all of 14 months of being married. But man, like I didn't know what I didn't know because I was always looking external. I was never looking internal. And life is a mirror. I looked through the mirror. I didn't look at the mirror, or I looked
Mm.
around it.
Mm.
And I just didn't want to admit that I was 300 pounds or I was drinking too much or whatever it might have been. But it took counseling, coaching. It took my wife saying, hey, man, this is the last straw. I'll always love you, but I can't do it for you. That one decision that led to sobriety, that led to everything else, I mean, radically changed my life.
Wow. So she dropped the ultimatum. It's
It
my
wasn't
way or
even,
the highway, or?
you know, it wasn't even that. She never gave an ultimatum. But what I said, what I saw and I felt, and actually it just happened St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, March 17th. It's not the day I got sober. It's not the day I lost 100 pounds, but it is the day that I made a decision to start transforming.
That was the beginning.
And I will never forget, after a 48-hour bender of March Madness, Thursday and Friday, I probably had, on those 2 days, I don't know what I drank. I don't know what I ate. It was all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably had anywhere between the ups and down swings. I probably bet, I mean, there's 32 basketball games on Thursday and Friday of March Madness. 32 games, so 32 sides, 32 totals, 64 bets, halftime bets. I bet I had 100 pieces of action. It was chaos.
Wow.
I bet I had 50 pieces of action in those 2 days. And I woke up after a 2-day bender, St. Patrick's Day on that Saturday. I took a cab home, and I'll never forget this, Mike. I looked at Melinda, and the very first thing, after not talking to her for 2 days, and we're in counseling, the very first thing I said to her, I was like, can you take me to the pub to get my car? And I saw life just be sucked out of her. That was the ultimate moment where I was like, all right, that was it. That's all I needed to see. She didn't say a word other than probably no.
Her face said it all.
I think I walked probably to get the car, but
Yeah.
it didn't matter. I saw life leave her body, and I'm like, all right, this is real talk, and I got to make some changes or else she's not going to be here.
Mm. That's powerful, man.
I'm glad you asked. I mean, her and I kind of go back to that, or I go back to it, but I don't say it out loud very often.
Yeah.
Because it's normally what happened in the counselor's office, or, hey, I stopped drinking, or you see it. But like, she never said like, you have to do this or I'm leaving. It was, I literally saw her life leave her body. All of the emotion just was gone. Like,
and you realized you were hurting the person that you loved.
Oh yeah. I was crushing her.
Man. And you guys were 14 months in.
Yeah.
Man, she's a trooper.
I mean, November, we celebrate 16 years.
Let's go, somebody. Y'all give it up for that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
We'll blame Jesus for that one.
Yes, we will. We'll give him all the glory for that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, thanks for sharing that. You said something powerful too, a lot of things, but one of the things you said is that people don't have an income problem. Break down what you mean by operating problem. What patterns are keeping agents stuck financially? A lot of these cycles can be true for even high income earners. This isn't just the agents who are just like kind of making enough to try to get by. This is like people who are making really good money and still have more month at the end than money.
I work with some of the biggest operators in the real estate space. And I work with a single mom that sells 12 houses a year. They have the exact same problems, just different zeros and different commas. And the flip doesn't switch until I can't make the budget look any cleaner or better. 3 bank accounts versus 5 bank accounts doesn't make it better until the person inside flips their switch. Like, we just don't have an income problem. We don't have a year over year problem. We have a month to month or a quarter to quarter problem. And that's simply because the majority of real estate agents, high income earners, will have these big ebbs and flows, and all of the money is either going backwards or they spend and they pay off everything and they don't fix their habits. And then 90 days later, they've racked up another $15,000 worth of credit card bills
Right back in it.
because they haven't fixed the system or they haven't fixed what's broken. They're addressing smoke versus fire. I had someone today that signed up for one-on-one coaching, and we're going to get after it. And I said, hey, these next 12 weeks, there's no opinions. We just have to get the stuff done, because opinions have gotten us to where we are today of X amount of debt and Y amount of cash and theory and just feelings. Like, we just have to push through all of that and learn to build the things, because some of the greatest conversations with people that are making $500 to north of $4 million a year in this industry. And if you don't plan your money before it comes in, if you don't have a financial organized system of bank accounts and left hand talking to right hand, and that also means husband and wife talking together, not every day about this stuff, but at least every week.
Yeah.
Like, you're always going to be climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall, always. And that's always going to keep you on this treadmill.
Man, it's a scary thought. I mean, I personally have been there, made more money in years than I knew that I would ever make. And I look at the end of the year and I'm like, you see it on paper,
more.
right?
I got to go make more. I got to go make more.
Well, that, and you can't even hardly believe the number that's on the paper that says how much you made. And you're like, I made that? Well, where is it? Who's got it? And so you're saying it like your income can change, but if your habits don't, you stay stuck. It
100.
becomes a repetitive cycle.
And that is across the board for everything. That's not just money. Money is so easy when you have the right habit. Like, it is just so simple. Again, maybe easy is not the right word, but it is just so simple when you have the right habit.
Yeah.
I left the mastermind last week, and we didn't talk much about money, maybe a little bit, but not much. It was around being peak performance, and energy and sleep was the topic. Half the morning was about peak performance, and then half the peak performance was about energy and sleep. The rest of it was easy stuff, or just like supplements and getting up early and all that stuff. But I look at it and I'm like, wait a minute. If my operating system is, I want to be peak performance, like level 10 health, and that means that I need to stop eating 3 hours before I go to bed. And that means I have to have an alarm on my phone at 5 o'clock that says I have 30 minutes to eat because I need to be in bed at 8:30. And then I wake up and I don't touch my phone and I go outside and I get a little bit of sunlight and I go on a walk. I don't log in. Like, that's not when I log into Mike's podcast. That's when I'm kind of letting my brain wake up. And I'm like, if that is the 10 hours that I protect the most, those last 3 hours before we go to bed, the 7-8 hours that we sleep, and the hour in the morning, like, we're not doing anything. But if that's where we get to recharge and get to become this peak performance machine, like, it doesn't cost any money. But if those are the habits that we can line up, think big, go small, trust the dominoes will fall. And those things just all the way grow to, now I turn on my phone. Now I get into the world. Now I start to operate. Everything else is just so much easier or unnecessary.
Yeah. And you don't have to fix it all at the same time, right? This is habit stacking,
impossible.
Right? You can choose something, and just kind of start doing that thing, start getting those results, getting that into that habit, and then you can stack another habit on top of that.
Yeah, and again, it's from the book The One Thing. It's one of the best business books on the planet, and more life book than anything. But I mean, it takes 66 days to build a habit on average, and you can truly only build one keystone habit at a time. But if you do it every single day for 5 to 10, 15 minutes, you can build 3 to 5 killer habits over the course of 12 months that generally will bleed. I believe discipline bleeds. And so as you build these habits, they'll bleed into your physical life, they'll bleed into your financial life, they'll bleed into your spiritual life, marriage, business, etc. And it all started with a decision to get up off the couch.
Yeah.
That led to this, and this, that equals asking bigger questions and lands Matt and Melinda in Las Vegas and You see the stuff that you see on social media, but I mean, it all comes back to a decision. Can you take me to the pub to get my car in 2012? Like, if I
And
didn't make that decision, none of this happens.
I would also venture to say, if she also didn't say no, none of this happens.
Yeah.
If she would have said, yeah, honey, I'll take you.
I'll take
Yeah,
you.
you would have saw the disappointment, but she would have enabled you, and you would have gone and got the car, and maybe, you would have had another bender at some point, right? But
yeah, exactly.
it was the face, it was that emotion that you saw, and it was her finally drawing a line and then saying, no, we're not doing this.
I look back at all of the things. My dad passed away in the spring of 2014 as we were on this journey. And I mean, if that happens at any other point, like if it happened 2 years earlier, there's no chance I get sober. Maybe it happened in the time where we had established a sobriety. I'd lost 100 pounds. Melinda was doing fitness competitions. We were starting our financial journey. And then my dad passed away of a heart attack. And I was able to weather that storm simply because I'd had some reps to prepare for it.
Wow. So let's get tactical, because awareness without action is useless, as you know. So what are the 3 steps to create stress-free wealth, especially in today's unpredictable market?
So I break it into budgeting, banking, and bookkeeping. When I say budgeting, obviously you just lost half your listeners.
Yeah,
by the way.
that's right. People,
They're
the
like,
B word.
All right, dude, drop budgeting. Here's what it is, gang. It's planning your money before you spend it. It's cash flow planning. Call it a freedom spending plan. Call it a whatever you want to call it. Here's what it is. I'm going to say I'm going to spend $1,000 on food, and then I'm just going to make sure I don't spend more than $1,000 on food. I mean, that's kind of like being an adult. I believe adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. And so, gang, we have to do it. Now, do you have to track it every single day and track the pennies and the dimes? You don't have to. But now with AI and software, you can do it in such an easier time frame than when Dave Ramsey created a said budget 30 years ago, and you had to write down everything in our checkbooks and stuff like that. We don't have to do that anymore. There's AI and there's software to make it super fun, super easy, makes it a game.
I just heard everybody say, thank God.
Yeah. So and that's cool. Now, but you need software. You need a system. You need something to help you that links bank accounts and credit cards and bank feeds together to make it super easy and to make it a game. So that's one. The banking side of it. And again, all of this is where are the problems? Where are the landmines? The landmines is people are spending more than they make. Well, the number one way to avoid spending more than you make is to do some sort of cash flow plan. Financial disorganization. It's one of the 2 things that cause the most stress and anxiety for real estate agents and entrepreneurs. So we need a banking system. We need some organization that says, hey, when $15,000 comes in from our commission check, who gets it? The owner needs to get some. The person that sold the house needs to get some. The government needs its money. The operation expense, the account that we're going to be buying all of this stuff, our coaching and our events and our travel and our uniforms and all of that stuff, there needs to be an account for that. Because, Mike, if $15,000 comes into one account and that's the account that you operate out of, how much money are you going to spend?
All of it.
All of it. And so we have to protect us from us. Our natural instinct is to open up our bank feed and bank app and say, hey, I've got $15,000. That means I have $15,000.
That's right. That's right.
And so what we do with understanding your path of money and implementing profit first is we organize this money to where when $15,000 comes in, your business has probably $4,000 to $5,000 to spend, not 15. Because some of that money comes home. And when Matt and Melinda have $7,000 hits our bank account out of a $15,000 check or whatever it might be, what are we going to do with $7,000? How much are we going to give? How much are we going to save? How much are we going to spend? How much are we going to invest? And the tactical, if you're like, hey, where do I start? Just go back in 90 days and how much did you actually spend? It's the best way. And if you want to get really technical,
on all of it, we're talking all of the stuff, the utilities, everything. Because you
black
got
out.
business expenses, you got personal expenses, and those are usually bleeding together. So
Yeah, redact, whether you do it on like Adobe or just a pen, a little marker,
yeah,
upload your bank statements into chat and say, hey, can you categorize this for me, or Claude, and say, hey, can you break this into 5 categories on how much goes towards like living expenses, lifestyle, food, entertainment, groceries, and utilities, whatever it is. And then it'll give you an idea that says, okay, great. In the month of April, this is the game plan for April. And do that for your business too. Like, how much do I spend on subscriptions? How much do I spend on coaching? How much do I spend on travel? How much do I spend on this? Upload your credit card statements and upload your bank statements, redact the stuff that you don't want it to have, and it'll give you an idea.
I have to imagine that most of the real estate agents that you talk to have commingled their accounts. So the money that comes in is used for the family as well as the business. Is that one of the first things that you help them to do, is like, you got to get this separated?
So, and that's why I love the site is every dollar. The app's every dollar. It's easier to set it up. By the way, it's easier to set up online on the web and then use the app on a daily basis, but you set it up on the desktop.
And is that everydollar.com?
Everydollar.com. Yeah. And the easiest way is actually have one every dollar account. Now I coach you to have 2. You need one for business, one for personal, but bring it all in and you can see all of the stuff. Like, you can see Matt Plummer coaching and you can see Whole Foods right next to each other. And you're like, holy cow, I can see now. Put in like all of your business banking first and you can see what all the things that you're spending inside your business accounts, and then say, okay, great. Now I'm going to go open another account, and that's going to be my personal, and then go put all of your personal in there. So your Ally Bank and your Chase Sapphire card that you use and pay off, and then look at it and it's like, oh, there's my event ticket from last year. Oh, there's a thing at the gas pump that I should be on the business. And now you can see, and you didn't have to figure it out. The tech told you.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, okay, now my brokerage subscription is $85 and that's on my personal card. And then you have a list of all of that. Take 30 minutes and go in and say, okay, update this, update this, update this, update this. And you don't do it for 17 hours, you do it for 17 minutes. And when that time is up, you just do it again the next day.
There you go.
And so it doesn't have to be this big monster that we just make up. We tell ourselves that it has to be. It's like, can we take these bite-sized pieces that every single day between coaching call on Wednesday to coaching call on Wednesday, I'm going to have 5 15-minute meetings, and I'm just going to move the ball forward so that over the course of 90 days or the course of 9 months, I've made serious progress.
Where do most people sabotage the system?
For 90 days, Mike, your opinion does not matter. What bank you use, irrelevant. Let's use this bank. What thing you've tried in the past, let's try it this way. Like, we got 90 days. Like, you're going to be alive for another 90 years. We got 90 days. And if you don't like it, then change. You can't say it doesn't work if you don't try it. I coach with Shannon Sheplak on health and fitness, and I am not allowed to say her plan doesn't work if I don't text her every day and say, this is what I ate, this is what I weighed, this is what I did. Like, I can't say that it doesn't work. You can't say that Every Dollar isn't the best app if you haven't logged into it for 90 days in a row.
Love that.
You can't. You can't say Relay Bank doesn't connect with this and it's a cloud-based bank and I want a brick and mortar. If you're like, well, then go to your bank and set up 8 bank accounts and tell me how easy it is at Wells Fargo to set up 8 bank accounts.
Not easy. Yeah.
Right. So, like, let's go past the path of least resistance. The same way that I lost 100 pounds, I started with drinking a meal replacement shake. Let's go drink a shake instead of going to McDonald's. And imagine 12, 13, 14 years ago, Mike, if I would have said, what's in the shake? I was 300 pounds. I didn't ask McDonald's what was in the burger.
You didn't really care.
I didn't ask Taco Bell what was in the meat. I didn't ask what was in the pack of cigarettes. So, like, I lost the right to say that what's in it. It didn't matter. Did it taste good? Was it cost effective? And was it simple? Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, great. So let's just do that. And let's get a foot on the boat and a foot on the dock. And then one day we're going to have a foot on both docks. And now we're 2 feet on one dock and now it's stable. And now we can actually start to go build something.
Man, you're preaching, bro. I love that. What it sounds to me is that like stress-free wealth isn't about more money. It really is about predictable systems.
Mhm.
And you said something too that like you have a coach, you have multiple coaches, as we were talking about. And the truth is, like, even coaches need coaches.
I said it out loud the other day when I was talking with someone. I was like, is it really that much? And I look at it as like, I don't need to learn more stuff. I just need to be reminded more. I think everybody listening to this
That's right.
doesn't need to learn more things. They need to be
Yeah.
reminded more.
I like to say people need to be reminded more than they need to be told.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at it and I was like, if I'm investing, let's just call it 80 grand for the year in all lines of coaching, I'm like, how much am I going to learn? How much am I going to be reminded? How many habits am I going to create over this year? We've got 15 one-on-one clients. I've got 15 people in the wealth department. We got 15 bookkeeping clients. Like, how much is their life going to be impacted because of something I heard on my coaching call with Shannon or Alec or Omar or whoever it might be, and be like, hey, I can take this and apply that to the wealth department. Or, hey, Alec, can we use my coaching call this week to come in and talk to 15 agents about marketing, or Omar about video, or Shannon about making sure how do we track our macros and whatever it is to lose 10 pounds going into the holiday season. I mean, that is priceless for my clients, for my world.
Yeah.
That's the other reason, is that it's an investment into yourself, that the beauty of it, Mike, you don't lose it. If you're going to invest $10,000 into a coaching program and you play full out, I wholeheartedly believe that is worth millions of dollars over the next 30 years.
I agree.
100%. I just had a coaching call 2 hours ago. He's going to do one-on-one coaching for 12 weeks. And it's a significant investment. And I'm like, we're going to do that. And we're going to do this, this, and this. And 12 months from now, you're not going to have any debt and you're going to have $100,000 in the bank. And then you're going to go and sell 30 houses, right? Because you're still going to sell 30 houses a year and make $500,000. And now you're going to be able to take 100 grand a year and go invest it into the S&P 500. And you're going to have $1.2 million in 11 years.
Yep.
And in 25 years, that's going to be $4 million if you don't stop. And like, nothing changes. Like, I'm going to teach her all of that stuff inside of 12 weeks. So if she just keeps going over and over and over and over and over and reading Facebook posts and reading emails and sending a couple texts, $12,000 turns into potentially, depending on time and age, 12 million.
Yeah. It's so good. It creates a lot of questions for me, but I want to stay on something, because going into the coaches needing coaches and how you're leveraging coaching, you're leveraging it not only for your business, but also you mentioned that the coaches that you have access to now, that you've built relationships with now, you can actually even leverage their business and what they provide and allow them to come in to talk to your clients. So now you're leveraging relationships. So let's talk about leverage, because we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, and you're passionate about the leverage concept, which I absolutely love. So let's go into it.
So over the past couple of years, I'm a big acronym guy. I've got a couple of acronyms, and one of them, I created the wealth method. And wealth is wisdom, earn, accumulate, lend, track, and habits. Now, lend is lend and leverage.
Okay.
And so when we lend money, we're leveraging Coca-Cola. If we go by Coca-Cola, we're leveraging Wall Street, or we're leveraging real estate. When we're growing our business, Lindsay's a vital part of our coaching organization. Lindsay is leverage that we pay for. That's a tremendous investment into our business, is finding people, whether it's virtual assistants or admin or operations. It's leverage. I think coaching is leverage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm leveraging Omar for a year of being in his inner circle, and I get to leverage. Do I show up on the calls? Sometimes. Do I listen to them? Do I listen to the podcast? Do I hop into the calls? Do I come in and get my questions answered? Yeah, I'm leveraging his community, and he gets to talk to 200 people. I'm leveraging all of the things that Alec, when I coach with Alex Sheplak, he coaches 20 other people, that I would say, I would bet that I probably am his lowest income earner out of his 20 clients.
Wow.
I would be shocked if somebody...
Which for you is a good thing.
Which for me is a fantastic thing.
Exactly.
Because I get to leverage another bookkeeper that does millions of dollars. I get to leverage all of the coaches inside of the Chef Black community. They're like, why are you doing this? Because I make the least amount of money in this entire room.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. And now I get to pour that right back into the wealth department for people that are closing one deal and they don't have a deal the next month. So I get to tell them everything that I just learned on Monday and paid $1,000 for. I get to share it with them. It's an amazing coaching it is such the fast track to get to where you want to go.
So true, man. You can't see your blind spots without someone outside your system helping you. Like you said earlier, you were looking past the mirror. You were looking around the mirror. You were never looking at the mirror. And once you began looking at the mirror, you were like, you made the decision. Something has to change.
Yeah. You can't read the label from inside the bottle. When you're inside the can, when you're inside the bottle, you can't read the label. You've got to pay somebody to tell you what it says from the outside. That's coaching. And that's leverage.
You have to become someone completely different, becoming someone who can keep wealth in order to build wealth. I was actually sitting down with a buddy of mine just yesterday, actually. They bought a residence over at the St. Regis in Longboat Key, and he paid a healthy sum for this condo.
There's a crooked number and 7 digits on that property.
Here you go.
It's not 8.
Yeah, it's up there. It was 8 digits. It's one of those things where it's just like, dude, I haven't even thought that big yet. Being able to have that as one of my residences, let's say.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, who do you have to become to handle wealth consistently? Is it about thinking bigger and then attacking that goal? Or is it more about the habits that you have to kill in order to become the person and then the wealth comes with it?
I think it's both. I think you have to starve the person that's the low thinker. I think you have to starve that out. And I think you have to responsibly put yourself in rooms or in positions to think bigger. And that might be if you don't have the financial resources to do it. I think that starts with a podcast, a book, YouTube videos, getting in the rooms, partnerships, sponsorships, like those kind of things that grow. You and I met 2 weeks ago in Cabo San Lucas, and half the week before, my wife and I stayed at another resort than what we stayed at. And it was a goal of ours to stay there, and it was super nice, and it cost entirely too much. However, we saved up for it. We paid cash. The trip didn't come home with us. I didn't get sucked into a timeshare presentation. Like, everything's good. You're sitting in those environments that stretch you, that challenge you. It can't do anything but make you think bigger. We want to spend a few months, if not full time, in Cabo San Lucas at some point in our life. That is our Oz. That is truly our Oz, to overlook the beach, the ocean, the mountains, and a golf course all at the same time. And there's only a few places that we want to live that you can do that. And one of those is in Cabo. And so you start looking at when you're at these places, and then you start looking at the real estate magazines, and they all start with 5 million. And you're like, for a box? Right? And then you go to the next page and it's 32 million. And you're like, okay, that's probably a little aggressive.
Yeah.
But then we were staying at Chileno Bay, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to live in Cabo if I'm not going to be a member of a golf course. I mean, I play golf. So I don't want to move there and figure out golf. I want to figure out golf. And then what do I have to do to live there?
That's right.
And so, like, I was joking with people. I'm like, hey, for a few million, you can live here. And for a few 100,000, you can play golf. And so now, but what that does, Mike, is when it comes back to the wealth method and wisdom, I think that one of the biggest challenges that real estate agents and entrepreneurs have is that they don't know what they want when they want it. Which is they're just going to keep selling another house and selling another house and signing up another call and doing another podcast over and over and over and over and over. And then it's 70 and it's like, great, now what?
Now what?
And so that is helping us go all the way out to 55, 7, 8, 9 years from now and saying, hey, if this is what we want at 55, what are all of the things that we have to do along the way? What are the habits? Who do we have to become? What's our health look like? What's our financial models look like? And truly, man, when it comes down to, when I was playing golf at Chileno Bay, and it was just like, do you play golf?
I do.
Okay. So I was the only person on the golf course.
Wow.
It was myself, it was Melinda, and it was the caddy. At 7:30 in the morning,
wow,
there was nobody else. over the course of the day, the place filled up. But for the first 2 hours, we were the only people on the golf course. And I'm like, I'm out here and I'm playing well. The place is gorgeous. And I'm like, we're only 500 bookkeeping clients away from this. Hell, Mike knows 500 people.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And so we think we're so far when we're here and we're fighting the fire right in front of us because we got allergies or we got a cold or the dog threw up or the kid broke their arm and we're fighting that fire, when I'm like, I am 500 bookkeeping clients away from actually being able to join this place.
Go get after it.
This is over.
Yeah.
Now it's the time.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent, here's my goal. Here's what I want to do. Can I come up and do this at your events over the next 3 years? Sure. No problem.
Boom.
I just solved my $3 million a year problem.
You talked a couple things there. There's relationship. There's exposure. Because sometimes you don't know what you want because you hadn't necessarily seen it or experienced it yet. And so spending the money to be on that course, now your brain starts opening up. You're like, man, this is kind of nice. Like you said, you start asking the right questions. What would it take to be able to do this consistently, regularly?
Yeah.
Again, leveraging those relationships and saying, hey, if I was to do this and add value to your events, to the agents that attend your events, would that work? And if the answer is yes, then you're that much closer to your goal. And I tell you, man, like, wealth is attracted to identity, not effort. I specifically asked my buddy yesterday when we're sitting out, the kids are going around the lazy river at the St. Regis. We're having cocktails over at the bar, the Monkey Bar, and just hanging out. And I was like, dude, I'm telling him, I'm so proud of him. We used to work together. I said, dude, I'm so proud of what you've built. And let me just ask you though, like, what does your typical day or your week look like? He still works hard. He's still in meetings. He's a CEO of a company, and he just exited a very large company that he built, but they kept him on as CEO and they're paying him very well to be there. But I can tell you something, man, like, I don't think he works half as hard as I work on a day-to-day basis with the showings and the listings and the contacting the agents, all of the things, the social media, And so it's not about doing more. It truly is about changing your identity, and your identity starts with that mindset.
Yeah. And I mean, 10 years ago, we had lost weight, been sober. We did not have 2 nickels to rub together, but we didn't have any payments. And living in Las Vegas was not even close to the radar screen. Being a coach or having a real estate license wasn't even on the radar screen. Like, it didn't exist. As we land the plane for you guys today is like such a great question that we went through is, first of all, what is your odds and what has to be true for you to achieve it? And then we went through a filter, and I have every coaching client go through this, is why do you live where you live? What do you like and what do you don't like? So it's a 2-part question. Why do you live where you live? What do you like? What do you don't like? If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And the best question that I believe I've ever been able to ask myself, and you can use this in several areas of life, what has to be true for us to live there? And that will take you and your brain completely to another stratosphere to start thinking through, I would need 500 clients. I would need this. I would need this. And we started looking through, is like, when we moved to Cabo, like, you've got to have cash on the barrelhead to buy a house in Cabo. Like, they don't do financing in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right. So we need a big pile of cash. We need X amount of dollars of reoccurring income. We need, this house in Vegas needs to be paid off. If we
just to get on one of the golf courses, you're at $400 or more.
Just to play golf.
I mean, just to play golf.
So like, I'm like, all right, now do we want to do all that work just to play golf and look at the ocean? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll rent it. Like, cause then you get to like, you know what? I think a lot of people, when they get there, like, do I even need to buy a house, or can I just rent a house and figure out another way? But you can't get to that from here. Like, you have to keep pushing all the way through. So like, not to turn it into like a material thing, but like, ultimately I have this conversation with clients around, especially with taxes. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a strategist, but I can also, I can use the internet and we can all figure stuff out.
A lot of the same research.
But again, everybody has the same code. How you interpret it and how you can build a relationship with that can change. However, I think one of the things when you're looking at tax strategy and you're looking at, can this thing be an expense versus not an expense on our thing, is like, what has to be true for a golf membership
Yep.
or a house that we go spend that we love to go see or something? What has to be true for that to be a deduction? What has to be
Yes.
true for that? And then it just opens up a whole array of ideas for that to take place.
Dude, you are preaching, man. Oh, I love this. Hey, we can go on for hours, and we will go on. We'll continue to go on, but I want to give you an opportunity to let everybody know how they can find you. What are you working on? What is something that, do you got a book that they should buy, or podcast they should listen to? Like, what you got going on, man?
You can't buy anything. Someone asked me, said, "Hey, can I buy your ebook?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's free." So I've got an ebook that I wrote. I've got a resource guide. We're actually wrapping up a money system, a great download. But the easy way is everything's at mattplummer.com. Matt Plummer, Plumer.com. Everything's there. Connect on social is there. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that. And I would say the thing that I enjoy the most is I do have a 2-hour online live experience called the Path to Profit Challenge, mattplummer.com/challenge. And it's a 2-hour live experience that I go through the wealth method and then the principles, the pillars of budgeting, banking, and bookkeeping inside of those 2 hours. And you leave with an action plan. Like you leave with, hey, this is the bank, this is the bookkeeping, whether I'm going to do it or I'm going to hire Matt to do it. This is the budgeting app. This is how I do it. This is how I get to my Oz. This is how I build a relationship with my wife. And we crush inside of 120 minutes. But you can go mattplummer.com/challenge. Has got all of the details for whenever you listen to it. Just go there and you can register for the next one.
Yeah. And I'll be taking it for my first time very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. Matt, thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. So this is where we flip it back on you. You've got two paths from here. Path one, chaos. Keep chasing deals, keep restarting every month, keep feeling stressed no matter how much money you make. Or path two, system. Control your income, build predictable wealth, eliminate financial anxiety. Same market, same opportunities, different decisions. So the real question is, which one are you choosing? And if this episode exposed something for you, good. It was supposed to step on some toes. Now you get to do something with it. So share this with someone else who might be stuck in the cycle and start building systems, not just income. Because your next level isn't in another deal. It's in a new way of operating. This is the Leverage Lounge. I'm Mike Collier, and we'll see you real soon.